Hollywood's ultimate icon, Henry Cavill, doesn't just make the fans lose their composure, he makes celebrities feel what they should not be feeling. The twist? Cameras catch everything, and it's absolute cinema. Before we reveal Henry being thirsted by female celebrities, give our channel a sub if you enjoy videos like these. Gal Gadot. Starting the list off with none other than the iconic Gal Gadot, or the Wonder Woman you might remember. During the Justice League press junket in 2017, Gal Gadot found herself sitting next to Henry Cavill for multiple interviews because they both acted in the same film, but Unfolded became a masterclass in trying and failing to maintain professional distance.
So all I did was come and visit the guys with scones and stuff and just
really good
made them as comfortable as they should.
In one particular interview, when she was asked about working with Henry, Gadot's response wasn't about his acting technique or even the preparation. Instead, she immediately mentioned his physical presence, laughing while admitting that every time she saw him on set, she had to remind him that they were colleagues. Her body language told an even clearer story. If we look closely, Gadot is leaning toward Cavill repeatedly during the conversation. Her posture is opening in ways that experts in nonverbal communication immediately flagged. Whenever Cavill spoke during the interview, her attention was locked completely, eyes fixed, and she was smiling genuinely. The energy was visibly shifting as she was quite attracted to Superman. At one point during a group interview, another journalist asked Gadot a question, but she was so focused on something Cavill had just said that she had to ask for the question to be repeated. What makes these moments so compelling is the contrast between Gadot's usually composed personality around everyone else versus her completely giving in when there's Henry Cavill around. Sitting behind Cavill, her armor always cracks repeatedly, and fans have dissected every single clip, pointing out the moment when she tucked her hair.
That's an amazing thing, and it's not to be taken for granted, and this is the reasons why we keep on doing these movies, because
absolutely
adjusted her poster, and even laughed a bit too hard on jokes that weren't hilarious in the first place. The most telling moment came during a photo call when photographers asked them to pose together. The way Gadot positioned herself, along with the angle of her body and placement of her hand on his arm, all of it screamed complete comfort and familiarity that goes beyond standard star dynamics. When that particular photo circulated online, fans immediately noted the chemistry between the two. It wasn't a scripted photo shoot, but it was something that happened completely naturally. I'm doing a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway to celebrate when this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers. No action is required to enter. I'll randomly pick a winner once we hit the milestone. If you want to follow the journey or see the winner announcement, feel free to subscribe. Freya, Allan, and Anya Chalotra. And if you were surprised by Gadot's side of the story, you will be even more surprised by what Freya Allan was like around Henry Cavill. Freya Allan played the princess in The Witcher and had given multiple interviews in which she openly discussed meeting Henry for the first time and what the experience was like. She described walking onto the set, seeing Henry Cavill in the Geralt costume, and genuinely forgetting her time because she was too busy processing what was standing in front of her. At a Witcher convention, Allan was also asked what it was like working with Henry.
Series. So we also were talking about how to make sure that we bring her in early enough and have...
And her response was way too honest. She admitted that during their first scene together, she couldn't even maintain eye contact because it felt way too intense. The audience laughed, but her delivery suggested that she wasn't joking. Throughout that answer, even her voice softened, her posture shifted, and she kept glancing towards Henry Cavill and where he was sitting, almost seeking his reaction. We even have Anya's Chalotra, who plays Yennefer, and had similar moments with Henry Cavill. During a roundtable interview, when she was asked about her first impression of Henry, she paused, smiled, and even tried to avoid him initially because she was way too anxious about meeting the lead actor.
Hi, Freya.
She described being impressed not just by him physically, which she acknowledged was obvious, but also by his professionalism and kindness. If you know anything about Henry Cavill, he is way too kind, which is quite uncommon within Hollywood. The camera work during these interviews is interesting because it frequently cuts to Cavill's reaction while the actresses are speaking. His responses are consistently humble, occasionally self-deprecating, and they are even respectful towards the other person. He never plays into the attention or demands praise, yet somehow that restraint only amplifies his overall image and attractiveness in front of others. Amy Adams. Amy Adams is his crush, half of Hollywood, and she has worked with Henry Cavill across 3 different films, giving her more time than almost every other character. While their own screen chemistry as Lois Lane and Clark Kent was intentional, what happened during the press tour suggested something beyond professional moments. In a particularly revealing interview during the Man of Steel promotional tour,
having to work with Henry
It's
every
awful.
day.
It's just so awful. It's just too bad about his face, right? He's such a nice guy.
Adams was asked what was most surprising about working with Henry Cavill. Her answer didn't focus on his acting choices or how well he did the Superman role. Instead, she immediately referenced his physicality, laughing while admitting that shooting romantic scenes with someone who looks like Henry Cavill required a different level of mental preparation. The interviewer even pressed further, asking if it was difficult to stay professional during the intimate scene. But Adams' response was that Henry made everything easy because he was so respectful. But then she paused, smiled, and added that of course it helped that he was, in her words, ridiculously handsome. Throughout the Batman v Superman press conference, Adams and Cavill were also paired for interviews, and the chemistry was the focal point for the fans. Adams would often touch Cavill's arm while making points, lean towards him during conversation, and even maintain eye contact longer than any professional interactions would typically involve. At one event, when Cavill was answering the question, she even caught on camera just watching him, not even preparing her own answer, but just absorbed in listening to him speak. That moment became viral, but it wasn't as viral as a group interview where Ben Affleck made a joke about Cavill's workout routine. Adams immediately jumped in, laughing, while saying that everyone on the set was very aware of Henry's dedication to fitness. The way she emphasized very aware just goes to show how much she paid attention to Cavill himself. But beyond single women, Henry has also made his way into the hearts of married ones. Subscribe to the channel because the next one will surely shock you. Armie Hammer's wife. During the premiere of The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Armie Hammer arrived with his then-wife, Elizabeth Chambers, and what should have been a standard red carpet photo opportunity turned into one of the most hilarious moments of public thirsting. When Cavill joined Hammer for photos, Chambers' reaction was completely unguarded. She was visibly lit up, and her entire demeanor shifted from polite to smiling in genuine excitement. The photographer captured everything, and the way she made eye contact with Cavill, with her expressions changing completely, was something that was a huge spectacle to see.
All of us, I believe, when I say that we care deeply for this, and we care deeply.
Throughout the photo session, while Hammer and Cavill posed for cameras, Chambers remained close, far closer than spouses typically stay during those events. When a photo was requested with all 3 of them, she moved in between the 2 actors, and the resulting image showed her glowing, with one hand on each arm, but her body angled much towards Henry Cavill. The internet had a huge field day with that moment, not because of anything inappropriate that happened, but because Chambers' reaction was way too refreshingly honest. She wasn't trying to play it cool or maintain dissonance. She was visibly enjoying Henry Cavill's presence, his personality, and taking photographs with him. Hammer himself seemed amused, laughing and making jokes during interviews about how everyone, including his wife, was way more interested in talking to Henry than to him. Kaley Cuoco. We all remember when Henry Cavill dated Kaley Cuoco in 2013. That relationship only lasted about 2 weeks publicly, but Cuoco's reaction during and after provided some unique insights into what it's like to date someone like Henry Cavill. Paparazzi photos from their brief time together show Cuoco looking starstruck, even in the most casual moments. In one particular photo that went viral, they were just walking side by side. Cuoco was caught mid-glance, looking up to Henry Cavill with an expression that only the most intense lovers look at each other with after the relationship ended. She even gave interviews where she discussed her experience with unique humor. She mentioned the intensity of public attention, how being photographed with Henry Cavill turned every mundane activity into a media event. Even years later, when she was asked about her dating history during a talk show appearance, she laughed when Henry's name came up, saying that out of all of her relationships, that was the one that made her friends the most jealous. The audience erupted, and Cuoco leaned into the moment, joking that she completely understood why something like that would happen. Millie Bobby Brown. You might remember Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, but Henry Cavill's fans remembered her from the role of Enola Holmes, where she was already a massive star. Yet, in her interviews about working with Henry Cavill, she always revealed something that is quite fascinating. She always says that she is completely affected by his presence, especially in the mentor-mentee dynamic. A very specific video and interview that went viral on the internet also painted Henry Cavill as someone who was interested in Millie Bobby Brown. However, that was definitely not the case. Millie Bobby Brown is always emphasizing...
I follow your career very closely.
Do you?
Yes, but I did not know about that.
emphasizing Henry Cavill's professionalism and kindness. But at a certain moment, we can see that she was intimidated initially. She wasn't intimidated in a sort of horror or horrific sense. She was intimidated by the sheer handsomeness of the star. During one press event, she described their first day of filming, admitting that she was nervous because she'd grown up watching him as Superman. She joked that it was strange going from seeing on a movie screen to suddenly acting with them. At the Enola Holmes premiere, when they posed for photos together, Brown's energy was different from her usual red carpet appearances. Gina Carano. The last one on our list is Gina Carano, who worked with Cavill during the filming of the Man from UNC movie. While a former fighter turned actress who would typically project strength and confidence, interviews from that period suggest even she wasn't immune to Henry Cavill's attractiveness. During a podcast appearance, Carano was asked about the set experience, and she immediately brought up Cavill. She described him as a gentleman, but then she laughed and admitted that working with someone who looked like Henry while trying to maintain a tough, intimidating character was a unique challenge. She even mentioned that during her rehearsals, they were blocking fight, and they were doing a fight scene, and Cavill accidentally stood too close during a particular move. There, she said that she completely lost her train of thought while getting the choreography and had to ask to start over. What's really interesting about Carano's reaction is the contrast between her public persona, with his tough, no-nonsense, and just physically imposing, and her response to Henry Cavill, which was noticeably warmer and made her feel like a complete, submissive woman. So which moment did you like the most? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please give us a sub for more Henry Cavill moments like these.